Jen here. This is a layout that I put together that I was originally inspired by a sketch to create, and I will put the picture of the sketch right here. This is Creative Scrapbooker Magazine's October Sketchy Challenge. So I'm going through some papers here. This is the My Mind's Eye on Trend 2 collection, and I'm just trying to decide which circles are going to go where and how much of each color I want. And then I noticed that the picture has a bit of a border around it, so I'm just going to take this black and gold paper and mount my picture on it, which looks really nice. I like the way, you don't really need to tell what the pattern is, but it's nice to sort of have that little pop of gold where the books are, because the picture is pretty dark. And then I realize that if I cut that little square, which is just part of a cut apart sheet from the collection, it says enjoy the little things. And if I cut it into a circle, I'm going to lose a lot of the flowers and just the sort of general feel of the square. So I abandoned the circle design, and I'm going to use rectangles instead. So here I'm just cutting a piece of this paper. It's my favorite color, so of course I'm going to make that the biggest piece. And I'm still sort of following the sketch in that I put the biggest rectangle up in that top corner. But that's kind of where it ends. I abandon the sketch from here on out. So I take a piece of this the black and gold, and I'm going to use that as one of my rectangles. I just like the way that it complements the books. It's not a true black, like a dark black. It's sort of more of a charcoaly black, so it's really pretty. And then the black and white stripes is actually the back of that paper. So I cut a little rectangle of that. And then the back of the mint and gold polka dot paper is a white and mint stripe. Sorry, I'm off screen here, but I just wanted to cut that paper so that my rectangle had the stripes going horizontally, and then that way I could use them as journaling and just follow the stripes that way. And I thought it made it a little more interesting just to have the stripes going in a different direction. And so here I've already sort of abandoned the sketch completely, because now I have more rectangles than the sketch had circles. So I decide I want to add another color to it. And I'm thinking about that there, the card that I'm pointing to, because it has the same flower designs in it. And then I realized that maybe that sort of orangey color, I don't know what color it is, peach, salmon, I don't know. Maybe that's what I need to add as a third color to sort of make the whole thing pop, because I don't really consider the gold to be a color per se. It's more of just an accent. So this is a piece of on trend paper. So all of the colors are the same in the two collections, but I think on trend just doesn't have the gold accents that on trend 2 has. And I noticed that the back of that cut apart sheet was the right orangey color, but it had dots, so it kind of brought in those dots from that top piece of paper again. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of time to play around with the configuration. Now that I've fully decided I'm not following the sketch, I don't need to sort of place all of my squares where they would have been if I was using the sketch. So I move them around, and I like that a lot better with that middle one. Yay, those were my happy hands. With the middle square down at the bottom. But I noticed that the papers that have white in it, they're really blending into the background, and so you don't really get to appreciate the rectangle patterns quite as much. So I'm going to go and ink the edges of all of the pieces with my black ink. This is just black archival ink. And then that way it just makes those, especially the ones with the white stripes, it makes them pop a little bit more. So you can really see that sort of angular design. And then of course this one too, because it has a white background. And my poor blending tool is dying, so you can't see it, but there's actually little specks of black all over that white paper. So what I decide to do is spray it with some mist. So I'm just going to use my Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine Mist. Did I say that right? Heidi Swap Color Shine Gold? Yeah. So I just give it a very light spray and then a few sprinkles in the corners. You don't really see a lot of it, but it covered up a couple of those little black smudges. And when you actually look at the layout in real life, you can kind of see that nice shimmer in the background, which is really pretty. And now I'll just put everything back down. So I'm just going to try and keep my photo where I want it to go, and then from there kind of piece all of these rectangles back together. And I'm just keeping in mind the balance. So I have the two minty colors sort of opposite to each other, and then the two black rectangles opposite to each other. But I also don't want any of the edges to line up. I want them all to have their own space, and I don't want anything to look too matchy. So I'm just keeping that in mind as well as I stick them all down. And going just for an overall balance to the layout. I think I'm standing up because I must be knocking my tripod. I apologize for those jiggles. Oh no, it was my son. He was drawing right beside me. That's what it was. He was knocking the tripod. And so here I'm just going to pop up that picture. And that just makes sure that the picture stays the main focus of the layout. Especially because the picture is quite busy. It has all those book covers, and then it has, they've got writing on them, and they all have their own design and their own sort of space, and so your eye competes to see what's in the picture, so it doesn't necessarily want to compete to find the picture. So I pop it up, still using all of my random bits of pop dots that I have. And I'm just going to peel off the backs of a few of them, just enough to make sure that the picture actually sticks down nicely and that it's secure. But I don't need to take the back off of every single one of those little squares. They're mostly just there just to hold the space and make sure that the picture doesn't collapse when you put it into a pocket protector. A pocket protector? Wow, I'm really not speaking well today. A page protector is what I meant. There we go. So I'm just going to pop that one on. And then I find a little frame that I want to use. It's been sitting on my desk for a while, and I noticed that peach color, that sort of, there's just a little swipe of it in that one corner, and it's exactly the same color as the papers that I've been using, so I figured why not throw it on there. And it has black polka dots on it too, so I just throw it up in that corner. And then I move on to my title. I know I want a few more embellishments, but I can't really decide on what I want, so I'm just going to move on to the title, and then I'll go back to embellishing after. So I've chosen these gold, they're like a gold foil alpha sticker, and they come from a Stampin' Up collection, and I can't remember what the name of the collection is, but the theme is wedding, and it's a collection from last year, and I probably won't ever use it as a wedding, collection, but I just like the gold. It matches really nicely with those dots. And I'm just writing my June TBR. And then I did a little bit of journaling about how I really enjoyed all the books in June. And I didn't give any 5 stars, but they all got 3 and 4 stars, so that's pretty good. That's a good reading month for me. And I do have some of the On Trend 2 ephemera. I think we got the ephemera pack along with the papers at the Crop and Create last year. So I'm pulling out some of those die cuts that have flowers on them, because that's sort of where I was leaning towards, is using flowers. But they're too big. I really like them. They're beautiful, but they were too big. So I went back to that card I saw when I was still looking for that peachy color. And I'm just going to cut the flowers in half. It was all one flower, but I decided to cut it in two, and I fussy cut around them. And I sort of kept the green colors together as one grouping, and then that big orange flower as another grouping. So this grouping with the green I'm going to put over with the black and white stripes. And then the orange flower I'm going to put over by the frame. And so now I have my triangle of flowers. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to do any other embellishing. I just wanted to leave it simple and let all of those different designs do the talking. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later. Happy scrapping, everybody. Bye.